The study led by Professor Ian Gottlieb compared 163 MRI scans of children before, during, and after the pandemic. The main areas of the brain affected control memory and emotions. Professor Gottlieb says it's unclear if their brain will remain permanently older than their chronological age. This leaves young adults questioning whether they're ready to step into adulthood.
If COVID never happened, I think I would have been a lot more prepared. I know obviously the corporate world is always going to be harder than your college experience, but I don't feel very prepared. My brain doesn't feel prepared. And I just feel like I'm not mentally mature enough and my brain hasn't, grown enough to the point where I'm going to be able to be very comfortable in those moments.
The National Institute of Mental Health conducted a small study on the lasting effects of the pandemic. Their findings suggest that teen brains aged an average of 3 years during the 10-month period. The same effect happens after being exposed to a traumatic event. Premature brain aging correlates with depression, anxiety, diabetes, heart disease, and addiction.
Anxiety has definitely increased through the pandemic, but I think being in lockdown, stuff like that, has definitely made me more mature. And I think that having to come out of my shell has helped me for the after college and just the corporate world.
Stanford researchers emphasize the need for adjustments in future studies to account for abnormal brain development and its effect on young adults entering this new stage of their life. Ohio University psychology teacher's assistant Kennedy Copeland spoke on the topic.
As a psychology TA, I have to stay up to date on a lot of recent studies. And one of the most recent studies that I read showed that a lot of young adults were thinking that they were younger than they are due to the pandemic. And in the study, I read that the pandemic affected their parts of their brain that control like anxiety levels, which caused an increase in those and also less confidence in these young adults. And I think this can be very damaging to them as they enter their future corporate jobs.
To learn more about Stanford Psychology Study, visit www.bspsgos.org.
For Ohio University, I'm Hallie Lorton.